Hello everybody, this is Huram here from Power of BI. So I have created this channel to share knowledge with you on how best we can make use of business intelligence tools that are available in the market. So on this channel, the BI tools that we are going to explore and have a look at are going to be Microsoft Power BI, ClickView and ClickSense by ClickTech, Tableau, and how to use Google Analytics data to connect to these sources. Now, in today's video, we will have a look at one of the most common problems that users are facing, which is to connect Google Analytics data into Excel. So we know Microsoft has made this possible in Power BI Desktop, but they haven't provided a way in Power Query in Excel. Although there are several add-ins available in Excel that you can make use of, but we know that they come at a cost. They are not free. So let's try and explore a method which is free and which lets you import Google Analytics data directly into Excel and also lets you schedule reports at the same time without any manual intervention. So before we get started, I would want you to have a look at Power BI Desktop and how this exactly works, how the Google Analytics connector on Power BI exactly works, and how the limitations are when you try and export this data into Excel. So now that we have this Power BI Desktop open, let's go to Get Data. Click on More, type in Google here till we find Google Analytics, click on Connect. Let's click on All Website Data, and let's say for this particular video I would want to analyze sessions by year and by month. So I will come down to time. Let's click on year and month of the year by sum of sessions. So this will create a small table for me. As you can see here, I can see the month, year, and sessions. Let's try and edit this. So this is the simplest one I'm trying to show you here. So the first thing that I want to do in the ETL layer here is to try and combine the month and year together. So I'll select the two, go to transform, click on merge columns, and I'll use a separator as my dash and call this month, year. Okay. Once this is done, I would want to make sure that my output is in the date format and my number of sessions is in the whole number format. Let's try and sort this in descending order. So as you can see, in ascending order rather, as you can see, my data is starting from November 2015 and ending up to June 2016. Now this could be a bit misleading because June is not yet over at the time of recording this video. So we would want to analyze till May. So here's this little neat feature which is called not the latest under date filters. Is not latest. So what this will do is, even if your data is till November 2016, for example, and you're sitting in December, it can go 1 month backwards and show you up till the previous month. Let's go back to home and click on close and apply. Let's try and create a very simple line graph using this table. We want to see month here and sessions for each. I'll come back here, click on month here, and change this to line graph. This is a neat little graph. How do I take this to Excel? If I try and take this into Excel, I have two choices. One, I can click on export data, and this will save the data for me in CSV format. With this, I will be able to import the CSV file into Excel. Or the second would be, I will come to this tabular format here, tabular diagram icon here, right click on this and say copy table, open my Excel file. So once I have my Excel open up, right click on this and say paste. So now you must know that we are able to export the data from Power BI Desktop into Excel, but now once the data is here, it is static. It is not connected to Power BI Desktop at all. So any manipulation that you do here will not be reflected back, or you will not be able to go back to Google Analytics and refresh the data and assume it will get refreshed here. So this is static here. You cannot do more. You can only analyze further in Excel, but you cannot have any direct connectivity. So that brings us to our problem. How do we counter that problem? So in Google, there is this Google Sheets platform which we can make use of. So how do we find this Google Sheets platform? So let's go to Google. I already have this open, but let me try and show you how this is possible. So let's go to Google and try Google Sheets. Click on this. Click on go to Sheets. Let's try and create a new sheet. And the first thing that we will need is a Google Analytics connector for this sheet. I already have the connector installed, so let me go ahead and uninstall the connector and reinstall it. So let's go to add-ons, click on get add-ons. The first page itself, we will find Google Analytics. Just hover over the mouse and click on free. Scroll down, click on allow. Wait for the confirmation. Here we are. We have the confirmation that Google Analytics add-on has been put in here. So now let's try and create a new report. We will call this report test report, and without making any further changes here, let's click on create report. We'll try and make changes right here. So the name of our report is going to be test report, as you can see here, and we would want to import the data from 2015 January. Let's write in this format. The format is always going to be year first, and then the month, and then the date. I would want the data till yesterday, for example. So the default value for last 10 days is 7, but I don't want anything here. Let's say we want to analyze the data for sessions. So there's this command called GA:sessions, and dimensions are going to be year and month maybe. We don't want to sort the data, but max results, let's say we want 10,000. That's being a little over ambitious, but I'm putting 10,000 here because the default value is 1,000. So even if we try and get 1,200 records, it will be filtered down to 1,000 records. So it's in best interest of everybody to put the maximum value here. So with all the details put in here, let's go to add-ons, click on Google Analytics and click on run report. So what this is going to do is, looking at the parameters that we have fed in, it will create a report. So now we have a confirmation that one report has successfully completed. So click on OK and we have our output here. So I want to schedule this report so that it refreshes every day. As you can see, it refreshed here just a minute back, and I would want this to be refreshed every morning. I can again go back to Google Analytics, click on schedule reports, enable, and every day between 4 to 5 a.m., which is fine with me, click on save. So now my report is scheduled and it will refresh on an everyday basis. So this is independent of Excel, independent of Power BI. This is all happening within Google Sheets, which is linked directly to Google Analytics. So now let's try and link this particular sheet to Excel. So we have two choices. First one is click on file and click on download as. You can download as an Excel file or a CSV file. So once we do that, we must know again our data which is there as an output will be independent. It will not be linked to Google Analytics. So the purpose is going to be defeated. So what we're going to do is click on publish to the web. And I want to publish this sheet called test report into CSV format, for example, and click on publish. So once I do that, it will give me a link which is going to be the same all the time. I'm going to copy this link and come back to my Excel and go to Power Query. So this is Excel 2013. I'll go to data, new query, from other sources, click on from web. Once you right click on this and say paste and see OK. So once the data has loaded up in preview format, let's go ahead and click on edit. Okay, so we know for a fact that our data is actually starting from 15th row. We don't want the first 14 rows. We'll click on a column, click on remove rows, remove top rows, and we'll remove the first 14 rows, and we will use first row as the header. So let's try and combine the year and month together to call it month year. So we'll click on both the columns here, click on transform, merge columns, use the dash as separator and call this month year. Click on OK. Now let's make sure this is in date format and this one is in whole number format. Let's sort this. So we know we have the data from January 2015 to June 2016. Similarly to how we did this in Power BI Desktop, we'll make sure we don't have the latest month. So we'll go to date filters and click on not the latest. Right. Done with. Click on close and load. Let's save this file. Save as this PC. Let's overwrite any file that I have before. Let's overwrite this file. Okay. So as you can see, this data is linked to Google Sheets, which in turn is linked to Google Analytics. So what that means is anytime I go back to my Google Sheets and I make any change, it should reflect here. So let's see if that actually works. So I'll go back to my Google Sheets, close this, and let's go back to my report configuration sheet. So let's say instead of having the data from January 1st, 2015, I want the data from January 1st, 2016 and only for 4 months. Okay. And let's go ahead and run the report. Successfully completed. You can see the output here. It shows me only 4 months data. Now if I go back to Excel and close the file and reopen it, so once this opens up, right click, say refresh. It refreshes here. So although at the back end I had 4 months, but because I applied that filter of not showing me the latest month, it shows me for 3 months. So this actually works. So my data, which is there in Google Analytics, is being imported into Google Sheets and from Google Sheets into Excel. Fantastic. Thank you everybody for watching the video, and I'll see you soon for the second video. Take care.